Hey everybody, this is Robert from RC Archery, and today I'm going to give a visualization for the article that I wrote on how to set up a hinge release. So I wanted to give some visualization to a couple points on it, how to set up the pressures in the fingers, and also what I'm meaning by shot timing with a click, and how to adjust it, go through a faster, slower shot window, stuff like that. So just to kind of start out with, as I wrote in the article, a lot of people use their index finger and they hold the majority of the pressure on that hinge release with that index. So what that does is when you get into a pressure situation, there's a lot of tension in your body. It's a lot harder to release that tension in the index finger and get the shot to fire as quickly. So you may hang, you may have to let down a lot, your shot timing is going to be a lot longer, and you run into a lot of problems that way. And the reason that is that way is because you're not using enough pressure in the outside fingers already on the release to preload into the release to get that shot to fire easier for you. Most of the time what people will do when they run into this problem, they're like, oh, I can't get my shot to go off fast enough. I need to speed up my hinge. So what they do is they take a hinge that's already set too fast because they can't use pressure in their outside fingers, and they make the problem, the situation worse. It's not going to go off any quicker when you rotate with the hinge with just using your index. So if you look at it, I don't have my thumb on here. All I've got is my index. If I release the tension of that index, the hinge, it doesn't rotate. It's not moving. So in order to get it to move, you have to have some sort of tension on the outside fingers, because that's going to make the middle of the release your fulcrum, and that's going to give you a way to swing that fulcrum and move everything around. So starting out, as I said in the article, set the hinge release extremely slow. You don't want to worry about it having a fire. You want to be able to, almost not even use your index finger at all. Use your thumb, the outside fingers, and just pull on that release as hard as you can and get that feeling of actually putting that tension into the outside fingers, because it's something new for you. So you want to be able to develop that. And then, as you go, your body is going to eventually feel the pressure through all the fingers, even it out, and it's going to find something that's repeatable for you, and that's what you're looking for. Once you have that, just go ahead, start slowly increasing the speed on the hinge until you get it to where you draw back, you anchor, you let your thumb off the thumb peg. You're going to equalize the pressure between all fingers, add a little bit into the outside, and then it clicks. So at that point, that's your starting point with the click. If you're not using a click, you want it to add a little bit of pressure to that outside finger, and you want the shot to fire. That'll give you a good starting point, either situation, either setup, and you can work from there. And then just to illustrate what I was talking about before, if you study your float, you'll notice when you look at it and time it in your head, you're going to have a window there where you're going to be the slowest, you're going to be right on target, you're going to be just right there in the center of the 10 ring. That's when you want your shots to fire. So that's why I like to use a hinge release, because these are fully adjustable on the amount of rotation they take, the amount of effort you put into it, and you can use that rotation to time your shot. So let's say, for instance, like me, I like a little bit longer shot window, a little bit later in my shot timing. That's when I slow down the most. So with me, I want to take as much movement, pre-movement out as possible before that click. Because yes, the distance from the click to the time the shot fires on that shelf on the moon is the same. That doesn't change, but how you get to that can. And that's what you're going to use for the shot timing. So, like I said, for me, I'm going to let my thumb off, equalize the pressure, and I'm actually going to add a little bit of extra pressure, and that's when I want to get to the click. And what that does is when I relax my hand to fire my shot, that's already taken a lot of the relaxation out, and my hand is very straight by the time I get to that click. The remaining movement takes longer to happen that way. So I'm going to, most of my movement's already gone, so as I go to relax that hand, the remaining bits of that movement, it's slower, it takes longer to happen, and that's how I time it to make my shot go off later the way that I would like for it to be. Now let's say you're not like that. Let's say that you need the shot to fire sooner. Well, that's okay too. What you'll do is you'll just make the shot, the timing rather, on the hinge release quicker. So let's say, you find out by trial and error and shooting the bow and how it works that you can let your thumb off the thumb bar, equal out the pressure in your hand, and that's when you want it to click. So at that point, you still have a lot of movement left in your hand to relax the hand, or you still have a lot of movement in the fingers to squeeze the fingers together, and that's great, because that more movement in there, that's going to allow you to be more aggressive. That more aggressiveness is going to let it travel faster, and your shot's going to happen even sooner. So that's how you adjust for the timing on there. That's how you look at the different scenarios on it, and get it to work the best for you. And then if you have any questions with that, if you have anything you want to run by me, anything like that, I'll put my email down in the description of the video. Feel free to reach out to me. I'd be glad to talk to you on it, and I hope this helped out some.